What they ask me of, I do.
Praise the Lord.
As a child of God, you do what God tells you. And as a child of a pastor, and a pastor's mama, they tell you to do, you do. Amen?
Amen.
I want everybody to say, it all matters.
It all matters.
And what?
It all matters.
It all matters. So it doesn't matter what size or how small. It all matters. And I want to read, and you don't have to stand up, it's just something briefly that I have. Because I've got two things to mention about this. It's in John 13:7, and it says, Jesus replied, "You do not realize now what I am doing, but later you will understand."
That's right.
Amen? Sometimes we get put in situations and we wonder why. Nos pone ahí el pastor, el Señor, y preguntamos, ¿por qué estoy aquí? ¿Qué es el motivo? Nada está pasando. Nothing's happening. No one's saying anything. Nobody's coming. Everybody was late. And you wonder, why am I there? But at the end of the turn, you'll understand why. Because I believe that if God tells you, Ellie, I'm going to tell you to do this right now for this and this and this reason. And if you don't like the reason, what's going to happen? You're not going to do it. You're just going to like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. Oh, mañana lo hago. Maybe the next day. And it happens, you don't do it because you don't have that fire. So when you get a surprise, you're excited. You're like, oh, I got a present. I can't wait to do this. I've got this to do. And you're anxious and you open it and you're so excited because it's something that you wanted. God puts dreams in our lives. Women dream a little more than men do. We're dreamers. We dream about our wedding. So for example, you dream about your wedding since you're a little girl, what dress you want to wear, what flowers. Men are like, whatever, just do whatever. We're going to get married, it's okay. Las mujeres, ellas son planadores, quieren este color, este día, ponen libros juntos de la boda, right, brother? Women are dreamers, but I believe men are as well, but women are just a little bit more. Because God plants those desires in our heart. And years ago, God, as I mentioned before, God planted a dream in my heart to work with women, to do what He asked me to do. And some things have been happening that I go, okay, I don't quite understand what this means right here, but okay, I'm going to go forward. I'm going to do what God told me to do because He told me to do it. And brother, last night when he was talking on how God molds us with that clay, that sometimes He has to break that mold and restart it again. I'm like, what I'm speaking right, because it talks about how we don't understand how that clay doesn't know how it's going to turn out until the potter fixes it. God's my potter. And He has placed women of purpose in my heart. And what I want is women of purpose to grow. But not as just because it's the women's auxiliary. No, we haven't had it for a while, let's be honest. So to me, God said, okay, here's a blank page. Get to work. Because sometimes when you get a picture and they say color it, you color in the lines. You know exactly, oh, this flower needs to be purple, the tree needs to be green, the house needs to be white. But when you get a blank page, what do you do with that blank page? You leave it up to your imagination. And if God gave you a desire, you start writing something on there, you start coloring, you start doing, because that's what God has put in your life. So as dreamers, sometimes we get so overwhelmed. Oh, but I've got this list I'm working on. Oh, but then I got to do this, and then you realize, oh, I've got a to-do list this long. For example, laundry, prepare meals, take everyone where they need to go. We have a large family. I just had one.
Thank you, Jesus.
And with that
You're a
child
handful.
band practice, oh my word, just with band practice alone, it was like 3-4 times a day. Oh, Mom, I gotta go now. Okay, there we go. Oh, Mom, you gotta pick me up at this time. Oh, there we go. Oh, we have a football game. We've got practice on Saturday. And it was, I can't imagine the people that have 3-4 kids, and they all have, she nods, and they all have either soccer practice, band practice, baseball, football. I don't know how they do it.
My Lord.
I bless those people because with one, I'm like, oh my God. I said, Noah, can you get a ride? And he goes, no, Mom, because you got to pick up the other kids. Other kids.
I got him a card. He was the ride.
So, all this gets into our do list, and we forget that we have the to-do list that God wants us to do.
Mm.
And we might not know the outcome until it's done. And that's the beauty of it. Because when the outcome is done, you know that God has placed your hand on there. God has been creating it. God has been giving you the wisdom. God has been giving you those desires that are going to work to that plan. And then others, we've got to make doctor's appointments, take kids to the doctor's appointments, our appointments. Some of us who have, like I think of Sister Linda, who takes care of her elderly mom. We check in our parents. I call my parents at least every other day. My sister, bless her heart, that lives there in town, I'll go, have you seen Mom and Dad? No, she lives in town. But then, we're all different. All our children are different. I call my parents at least every other day, sometimes twice a day, just to make sure they're okay. So that's all part of our plans. We all have something to do. And sometimes when we do things, like I was doing Mom several months ago for homecoming, to have a little extra cash, Christmas is coming, other things are coming. God blessed me doing, I think it was over a dozen moms. And I still had money left over. I was able to bless my parents with something that had happened. And I said, I didn't know what that money was for, but God knew.
Mm-hmm.
God knew that my mama and my daddy were going to need something. So I had that extra money. You see how it works? Mm-hmm. We don't wonder like, wow, I have all this extra cash. And I'm like, oh, I can go shopping. And you're like, no, just save it. So I took it, I folded it into 4 pieces, and I put it behind one of my cards. Like that, I forgot it was there. Out of sight, out of mind. And all of a sudden, I'm talking to my parents, and they tell me, pues no sé, esto y esto pasó. And I'm like, I know. I know why I have that extra money. Yes. See how things work together? People are going, why did they put Hermana Collins to do the women's ministry? Because years ago, God had already planned it. Yes. And I didn't know exactly where or when. But I knew that it was the day that was going to come.
Come on.
That He was going to put me to work where I needed to be.
Praise the Lord.
Now, it's not always easy, right, Pastor?
Mm-hmm.
Being a pastor is not always easy.
No.
Being a PK kid is not easy, right, Pastor? Because eyes are always upon you. And so now, like, this morning I was like, do I wear slacks? No, I better not wear slacks. Because that's the way we were brought up. You're going to be behind the pulpit, you don't wear slacks. But things have changed so much that some people don't even think about it. But I did. God knew why the shoes I had on yesterday, I was not going to wear them with the slacks I wanted to wear. Because I was supposed to wear a dress. Now, I won't wear those shoes for a long while. They were crazy. They were killing me. I don't know why. But sometimes things that we do that are time wasters wind up being of blessings. You're catching every red light. You're late. Why are you catching every red light? You get to point B and you realize there's a huge car accident. And you're like, I know why I caught every red light.
That's true.
Why did I turn here? I was supposed to turn over there. There's an accident. There's a truck that rolled over. See how God watches every move we make? Yes, He does. And even as in leadership, God's watching every move. Amen. And not only God, but the people out there are watching every move. So we have to be in our top shape all the time. Like Sister Benji, I've always wanted to talk to her, by the time I turn around, she's gone. Because I know there's God, something has placed something in her heart. And I'm not trying to embarrass her, but every time I see her on Facebook, I say, I gotta send her a message. Something happens. And I'm like, why can't I send? Well, there's a time. I'm trying to rush what God wants me to do. It's not my timing. That's one thing I learned when I lived in Austin. It's not, I wanted to get married so bad. All my friends were getting married. The kids I taught in Sunday school were married, and some of them were having kids, and I'm like still single. And I'm like, God, why can't I get married? I'm not that bad looking. You know, I would tell myself that. And there was one time, there was this girl that was assisting the church that I was at. And she was a big girl. She was a big girl. Very pretty, wore makeup beautifully. I just sort of kind of put makeup on. You know, I've never been a big to-do person on that. And she comes up and she goes, I've got a praise report. And so she gets up and I think her name was Shannon or Sharon. And she says, I'm engaged. I looked at her, and I was sitting with my best friend at the time, and I said, I gotta go outside. I went outside, and I went to the playground, and I started crying. And telling God, why? I'm not that bad. I know how to cook, I know how to clean, I serve you, I come to church, I do this, I do that. I didn't hear anything. And I'm like, are you listening? She's getting married and she's even fatter than me. That's what I said. That's what I said. Because I was acting as a child. I wasn't believing on what a sister had told me in Harlingen, Texas, about making a list of my husband that I wanted to be. When God revealed, remember the list? No, I dug up my list and started going through my list every day. I want this. I want him to be like my daddy. I want him to treat me like my daddy treats my mom. I want him to be a musician. I want him to love the Lord. I want him to take care of me. Whatever, everything that I wanted in a man, I asked God. And at the very bottom of my list, I said, I want him to be a cowboy guy. I want him to wear cowboy boots and cowboy hats.
I like the Cowboys, but that's about it.
God gave me everything on that list, but my husband is not a cowboy guy.
No, Lord, fun.
Cowboys, but that.
Who said that God does not have a sense of humor? He has a sense of humor because he gave me a great man. I'm a blessed woman. I say that all the time.
Yeah.
I even tell the lady that does my nails, I said, I'm a blessed woman. I got a good man. Oh, you got a good man? I said, yeah, I got a real good man. I said, I'm going to keep him for a while. She goes, oh, good. You'll keep him. I said, yeah, I'm going to keep him for a while. But all to say is that if I had forgotten about that list and not listened to God, what God told me about that list about my husband, I might have gone the wrong way and just married the first guy that said, come on, let's go get married. I'd be a miserable person today. But I thank God that because everything we do, it all matters.
Yeah.
Yes.
It all matters.
Well,
And when we get so busy sometimes that we forget what we're doing and why, I was thinking of this monk. And I was kind of scared to mention because I know monks are Catholics. I even asked Brian, right, monks are Catholics? But I was reading something on this particular monk, and his name was Brother Lawrence. And this monk's job, every day, year after year, after month, after year, and in and out. This monk's responsibility was to clean pots. Era lavador de vasijas. Es todo lo que hacía. He didn't have any other job in the monastery but to wash pots. Now, I don't know how you feel washing pots day in and day out, nothing else. Oh, can I do something else? No, wash those pots. Can I go to the garden? No, wash those pots. But years and years and years of washing pots, he realized that he had a high calling while he washed those pots. He learned how to communicate with God. He learned that, oh, while I'm folding this piece of laundry, I need to bless my son. While I fold this shirt for my husband, I need to bless my husband. Yeah. Oh, this clothes isn't fitting anymore. I need to take it to somebody who will use it. But Lord, I'm going to bless this clothes so for the person that uses it, that person will be blessed.
Mm.
See, in little things that we do, there's always a purpose.
Yes.
Always a purpose. Now, where am I going with all this? I want to ask the women here. How many of y'all have prayed for women of purpose? Raise your hand. Miss Deborah, I know you're busy, but can you hand these out to these ladies that raised their hands? It was Sister Rosa and my mom, I think one more, and Pastor Dean. I think I have just the right amount. So pass those out to them. Okay, what I'm passing out, and then I'm going to have y'all, I'm going to have Sister Rosa pass these, and I'm going to have over here. I told my husband, take me to the dollar store. And he goes, are you going to the dollar store? I said, I need, what is it, motivation?
Something like that, yeah.
I need a motivation factor. And he goes,
Here's the credit card.
and he goes, motivation at the dollar store? I said, you don't understand. Seems like the verse said, you know what I'm doing right now, but later you will.
Yeah.
Well, when I got out of the store, I said, here, I got my motivation. And he goes, oh, the bag's heavy. I said, it wasn't too bad. I went like this. Well, what I did was, I walked around the dollar store and walked around and handed to the pastors too, Ms. Rosa. I saw calendars. And I went, I know why I need a calendar. In January the 18th and 19th of 2019, and it's been a long time, we're having a women's retreat here in this precious church. Pastor has offered his church. And we haven't had one in a long time. So as I'm saying, it all matters because you matter, you matter, you matter. In order to rebuild and restore, we all need to work a little bit together.
That's right.
All of us need to work together. I appreciate you, brother, coming all the way from Granbury. I mean, that's beautiful, brother. You deserve the prize today. It's hard to come with a family, with jobs. But if God sees your effort, you get blessed.
Yes.
You get blessed. We used to go from Raymondville to San Benito for over, what, 16 years, Mom? 20? Oh, my gosh. That realizes I'm 52, that's right. I mean, over 30 years, we went from Raymondville to San Benito, and that's like 30-some-odd miles each way. I was in high school. I would carry she's nodding, she has the idea. I played saxophone. I had homework. So I'm doing homework in the car. Sometimes I would kneel down and I would make homework because it was due. But we had to be at church. So all that I did, it matters now. God says, you see, I saw that you were diligent. You went. So what I'm trying to do is create this women's retreat for January. Now, it's not only for the women, pastors, hermanos, if you want to come, vénganse. The more the merrier. But I put, let me get my glasses on. I put ya ni puedo hablar, me faltó café en la mañana. I put 3 things inside the calendar. Did you get one, did you? Okay, come get this one. He's still packing them. You can come get this one. Okay, she's coming. Well, I want to give her this one. She came all the way from Dallas. I put 3 things. So what I want you to do first is open it to January of 2019. To the date 18th and 19th. Are you there? Yeah. If you notice, I put little heart stickers on there. Take a heart sticker and put it on those dates. So when you see those dates, you will say, my heart needs to be at the women's retreat in January.
Good.
You like that, Pastor? You can use it. I'll let you use it. for free. So when you see that little heart, you know, I need to be there. And then in July, you can put one, I don't know the dates yet, but usually the convention's in July, right? You can put a little heart there too. But mine is in January the 8th, ours is in January the 18th and the 19th. Okay, so then you have this pretty little color card. Everybody? This is your invitation to come to the women's retreat. Okay? Then the most important one of all, not just my heart, but there's an envelope. What I'd like you to do is put your name or the church's name here, address, and then, or if you want it personal, you can do it to your personal. I'm giving you another envelope. We have, my faith was big. I had 40 some. So you can take some to your churches and well, pass them out and you can give them this little message. And then in this envelope, I'm going to send you, oh, Jacob, can you put my pretty flyer up there? I'm going to send you a registration form, a flyer, and some hotels that you can, that I've been calling to see if they can give us a good rate. So you know, y'all see that beautiful flyer?
Mm-hmm.
And a vertical? So that one I've got hotels. Now, I want y'all to focus on something. See if I can read. See that right there? What does it say?
$20.
Registration fee, $20. Now look at your neighbor and say, don't lose your blessing.
Don't lose the blessing.
I know that we've never charged before. But it all matters,
Yes.
right? If we're going to build something in our backyard, we have to go to Home Depot.
Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Buy lumber, buy the nails, buy the hammer if you don't have anything. But when it's done, it all matters because you make yourself a nice little shed.
Yeah.
Well, with the women of purpose, it matters because we need to start from the bottom up. Now, I can make it cheaper. If you sign up today, I can charge you $15. Blue light special. You remember those? Remember being at Woolco? Who remembers Woolco? When I was a little girl, we'd go to Woolco and they'd have red lights going. And they're like, oh, everybody ran over there because they're having the red light special. Well, we're having a blue light special. If you sign up today, we'll charge you $15. Now, why are you charging? Because we need to build something from the bottom up.
Yes.
Amen? We're building it from the bottom up. There's offerings, you know, the person that's speaking is not charging me. However, she's worthy to be paid just like anybody else.
She's traveling all the way from Vietas.
She's traveling. The praise and worship people, they're not charging me, but they're going to have to, an offering, a small offering. We need to learn how to bless so we can get blessed.
Yes. Yes.
Because if you always just keep your hand out. Sister said something to me, and I said, I don't know, sister, we've never really done that. How are you going to pay for this? And I said, well, this way. And then they said something very wise to me. That's why they're the pastors. What are you going to do next year when it grows? Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Ding. God gave me a moment. I love blessing. Sometimes I bless when I don't even have it, but you know what? God says, good job, baby. I got you. Don't worry. Just like when I made those mums. I made 2 for free because they were my best friend's kids. And the rest I charged. And I'm like, wow, I've had all this extra money left over. God knew why I had that money left over.
Mm-hmm.
So everything we do, it matters.
Yes,
This
it
conference needs y'all. Needs us. Women are movers and shakers, like I said before. We need to move and shake and get her done. Let's invite our friends. Let's invite people from the churches, pastors. Tell your people, call me. I will say anything. If you need questions, I will answer them to the best of my knowledge. If not, I'll say, hold on, I'll get the answer for you. I promise. Because I don't take my job lightly.
Praise the Lord.
I can't. It's God's work, and I cannot not take my job lightly. If He put me here to work, I'm here to work. Because at the end of the day, it all matters.
Yeah, amen.
Amen? So if you want extra little packet that I made from the dollar store, well, actually the envelope, Sister Rosa gave it to me several months ago. Everything else was from the dollar store. Thank God for the dollar store. I'll give you extras. Remember the heart. I have you in my heart. Women of Purpose need you. The conference needs you. And I ask you just for this. In your prayers, pray for Women of Purpose. Pray for Grace Bible Ministries, for its pastors, for Bishop and his staff. We all need your prayers. And at the very end, remember to pray for Ellie, that I continue to do God's will and to do what God commands of me. That's all I have today. Blessings, and remember, it all matters.
And we will be sending out flyers out to the church.
Yes, by December, I'll be sending the flyers with all the information, registration forms, and all that stuff. So remember, don't lose your blessing just because it's $20. It's to grow something. Amen?
Amen.